Forum.
It's shower.
Could I give your names, please? So I know.
Don't give that in a second. Yeah, I'll give them 2 minutes for their opening statement. I'm sorry I forgot my color-coded card. So basically, we have a card with an X on it for when the time is up. A card that has 15 on it whenever you're at 15 seconds. We'll give them each a 2-minute opening statement, and we'll start at, I think, I got my notes here. Russell Guilfoyle.
Russell Guilfoyle, running for County Commissioner, District 2. This has been a race now. From the very start, you know, my wife and I talked about it. We decided how we was going to handle it. We decided, well, to start off, and I'm going to plagiarize a gentleman from the State Convention, 2015. He said, we're going to tell the truth, we're going to do what's right, and we're going to maintain our integrity. And I think we've done that. I'm asking for people's votes, but I'm not asking for it unconditionally. When I talk to people, I ask them to compare everyone's qualifications and experience. My wife and I have lived on, our families have been on Keatonville Road since 1951. Okay? Whenever I graduated OSU, I accepted a position with the Department of Agriculture with USDA, it's federal meat grader. A lot of people don't know what a federal meat grader does. But when you go into the store and you pick out your meat that says prime, choice, or select, I was one of the people making that decision. So you're putting a monetary value on an industry's inventory. So a lot of days you are making decisions that you are going to be held accountable for. You're making them for the producer. You put that product in there, and you're a public servant. You're making it for the public that goes and buys that product. So you're a public servant. For 14 years I did that. For 21 years I've had small business experience. I've had 8 in insurance and 13 in commercial and residential real estate sales. I've got 5 years experience in corporate with Kodak Polychrome Graphics in one of the research and development buildings where I was managing people and projects.
Hello, thank you all for being here. David, thank you for all the hard work that you do for us. You know, it's been my privilege and my pleasure over the last few months as we travel around and campaign, and I get to talk to an individual or a group of individuals yourselves who are truly interested in what you have to say, who are concerned about what's going on in their community, want to be involved, make a difference. That's why you all are here. And that's also why I'm here, because I want to make a difference. I want to give back to the community that's been a part of my entire life. And I want to do so by becoming, in the truest sense of the word, a public servant, because that means a lot to me. You know, we started this campaign with a very simple message. And if you've seen any of our signs, boy, I hope you have, you notice 2 words at the bottom of the sign that says, expect more. And that's what I do. That's what I want you all to do. I think we should all expect more out of the people that we elect and put in office to represent us. We call it a paradigm shift, change in culture, raising the bar, whatever you want to name it. And it's not just about what I might do in my time in this office, should I be elected, things Commissioner Burrows is doing or Commissioner Delozier. But it's also about those who will follow, those who will come after us. I want them held to a higher standard. That's what you should expect. That's what you deserve. And for us, that's a big part of what this campaign is about. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Steve Ebel. I'm the right choice for District 2 Commissioner. I thank David and Rogers County GOP for having us here tonight. I also want to thank my wife Debbie and our family, the driving force behind me together with all of you, I want to be a part of improving District 2 in Rogers County, not just for our residents and local businesses, but for the tourists and any new businesses that can come into Rogers County. With over 35 years in industrial sales and management, the last 20 with the same employer, I do have the skills to do this job. Manage sales, purchasing, manufacturing, and general facility operations. I think it's time for us to take a fresh look at Rogers County and educate ourselves in order to take full advantage of our future opportunities. I pledge to serve you my experience, honesty, and integrity that we all deserve. Be honored to have your vote on Tuesday. Thank you.
Okay, my first question is a very simple, easy question. It shouldn't take me the 90 seconds that you're allotted to answer. How long have you been a Republican? We'll start with Mr. Hendrix.
I'm not sure the exact date. I think it was 2004, 2005, so I'm very safe in saying I've been a Republican for well over 10 years.
Ebel?
When I moved back to Oklahoma last year, when I registered here in Rogers County, I registered as a Republican. So it's been less than a year.
Russell?
Can't ever remember when it wasn't. I guess I moved back to Oklahoma from Colorado in 2002. When I started there, I registered Republican then.
So what have you guys done to prepare for the office? And I'm going to start with Mr. Ebel.
I've been attending county commissioner meetings as much as possible. And I've done several ride-alongs with some of the other commissioners and up in District 2 also.
Russell?
Over the last few months, I have specifically been meeting with some of the mayors, some of the city councilors, some of the presidents of the Chamber of Commerce of the different areas. In May of this year, 10th and 11th, they had a county budget process class, 2-day class that I attended. May 26th, I attended the Circuit Engineering District meeting in West Idaho Springs. In preparation, just to get to know the people and to get a better feel of what the county budget is like, because your county commissioner is the executive of the county. It's not roads and bridges.
As we've gone through the campaign, of course, meeting with civic leaders and city managers in the different communities, of the chiefs of police, the firefighters, asking what their concerns are, what do they need from their county commissioners, talking with the other county commissioners about what's going on in the community, attending as many county commissioner meetings as possible, and staying abreast of their issues and what's going on in the county. And just serving in a management capacity, which I've done for the past 13 years. I manage people at this time. I take care of their needs and concerns. That's what a commissioner is going to have to do, is manage people.
So we'll start this next question with Russell. What sets you apart from your other opponents?
I think over the last 5 years, I have proven that I'm going to put Rogers County first. With the things, just the things that are going on in Rogers County didn't start in the fall of last year. It's been going on since 2011, 2012. The waste of the taxpayers' money and resources was identified, and I think my experience with the federal government and the decision-making processes with the small business, where I deal with people every day. A lot of them, it's going to be the largest investment of their life when we're dealing with buying and selling their houses, working with them and their budgets. And then the corporate experience, managing people and products.
Steve?
Well,
Well, we're going to go in order here as far as,
I've been a resident of Rogers County my entire life. I've never left. My parents were born and raised here, as were my grandparents. I'm the third generation native. I've got very deep roots in Rogers County. And I was fortunate enough to be raised by a father who instilled a tremendous work ethic in his children. He made sure that we worked hard, and that's all I've ever known. That's all I've ever done is work hard in whatever capacity I can. And the other thing he taught us was to treat people with dignity and respect. You don't have to agree with everybody, but you treat every individual with dignity and respect because that's what they deserve, and that's what you expect back. I would think that those are qualifications that need to be in any leadership in elected position.
I think one of the main differences between me and the other candidates running for this office is the fact that I have been gone from Rogers County for quite some time. I just moved back last year. That gives me the opportunity to bring a fresh perspective into Rogers County. I've been gone long enough where I owe nobody anything and nobody owes me anything. There's not going to be any good old boy business going on. I'll leave it at that.
okay. We'll start this one with Mr. Hendrix, and the question is, who in the community is publicly endorsing you?
Who in the community would publicly endorse me?
Yes.
I'll start with Dr. Keith Ballard. Keith Ballard was gracious enough to allow me to actually put that in writing, that he has known me since 1992. He's known my family, and he strongly endorsed me for this position. And he served in many capacities, and he's well known and well respected in this community. I've also met with many, as I said, other civic leaders, city manager of Clinton, Jim Thomas, the city manager of Boston, Warren Lear. Both of them shook my hand and said, Steve, I think you do a wonderful job in this community.
Mr. Ebel?
As far as any leaders that support me, any of them want to. I've spent more time trying to talk to the people instead of currying favor with any elected officials.
Russell?
From the very start, I had some of the Rogers County elected officials ask me, what can I do to help you? How can I support you? And I said, stay neutral. Because this is the executive position of the county. And they're going to administer all of your government services. And I've asked if someone calls you and asks a personal opinion, feel free to be honest with them. But I don't want your money, and I don't want your endorsement, because if I'm elected, I never want to have a decision made that someone can look back and say that there was cronyism, that good old boy, I needed you then, you need me now.
Next question, we'll start with Mr. Ebel. What specific changes would you make in the previous administration?
So I think the first thing we have to do is we have to make sure and be very, very sure that whatever we're doing is open and above board and legal. And that seems to be legal issues that have plagued that office have given Rogers County a black eye. And I intend to be part of the correction to that problem.
We need to return fiscal responsibility back in District 2. Like I say, back in 2012, our district paid $189,000 for a custom-built dump truck, $583,000 for a drilling rig that's going unused. And 2012, in June, there was an election when we could have affected the change. It wasn't done. The dynamics of that makes this race even greater. So we're gonna return to fiscal responsibility. We're gonna have transparency through truth, and we're gonna have trust through an open door policy.
Mr. Hendrix?
Rogers County is a collection of diverse communities with different needs. And the needs of those communities have not been receiving the same treatment. The needs of Owasso are different than the needs of Claremore. The needs in Oologah are different than the needs in Owasso. And the previous administration basically catered to a select few areas of the community. What needs to be changed is to have representation across the county. And you do that by being involved in those accounts. You go to the city council meetings, you go to their functions, you go to their meetings, you make yourself accessible so that you get to hear what their needs and concerns are so that you can address them easily.
Next question, we'll start with Russell Guilfoyle. Why do you want to be county commissioner?
It's going to go back to my opposition of the waste of the taxpayers' money and resources from 2011 and 2012. I openly opposed it. I opposed it in the county commissioners meetings. There was, at one time, before the change of administration, there was going to be a criminal investigation into a private citizen for trespassing in the old courthouse. I openly opposed that.
Say that again.
They were asking for a criminal investigation for trespassing of an individual that went into the old courthouse before it was torn down. Okay, that's public building. It was open. That's just like if she was walking out across Claremore Lake. So I openly opposed that. And in 2013, there was approximately 8,000 Rogers County citizens that stood up to the Attorney General and said that we need a grand jury investigation into the Rogers County government. And I've been a part of that all along. Like I say, I think I have proven that I'm willing to put Rogers County first. And I think that's what we need, somebody that is proven that you're going to put Rogers County first.
Mr. Hendrix?
If you believe things need to change, and you do, then you start by getting better people to run for office. And that's what prompted me. Sometimes you have to step outside your comfort zone and step forward and say, I'm willing to serve. I'm willing to do my part and make things better. And I'm glad we have other candidates running. I'm glad that you have a tough job and have to decide and do your homework as far as who you want to elect. That's a good thing. Getting more people interested, getting better people to run for office is the way you change things. We shouldn't have to hold our nose when we go to the ballot box and choose between two candidates that we don't like. That's why I'm running.
When I moved back last year, it was obvious from the newspaper articles, just the talk in the town, that there were severe issues in District 2 in Rogers County. And when I came back, I was able to retire before I came back. And I've had a real blessed life, and I feel like it's time to give back to the community. I was raised here, and yes, I was away, but I do want to make an effort to help District 2 and Rogers County as far as making improvements.
Over the past few years, Rogers County has gone through some rough times. 2 commissioners have been indicted by a grand jury. And just this week, the state auditor said the former district attorney destroyed financial records of that office. What will you do to build the moral, culture, and image of the county to the public at large? And then we'll start that with Mr. Hendrix.
Well, the black cloud that's hung over the courthouse has certainly come to the forefront and in people's minds. And the purging started 2 years ago in the last election process when we elected better people to office. And that's what I alluded to a while ago. We need better people in office. And once you get into office, you have to develop a trust with the voters. You have to make yourself available, as I said, by being involved in the community, because that's the only way you're going to learn their needs and gain their trust. You have to be accessible. You have to be a gentleman. You have to treat people with courtesy. I said that before. But by going to the other entities that governing bodies and listening and developing relationships with the city councils and the Cherokee nations, and you have to have a good working relationship throughout the county to effectively get things done and forge those relationships. So I would be about forging relationships with the other entities in the county.
Mr. Ebel?
First off, we're going to have to operate openly and above board where the public can see what we're doing in order to restore some trust in certain areas. And I certainly intend to do that. Fostering relationships with other entities, certainly we have to do that. We have to work for the best of the people of Rogers County. Not what's best for me or what's best for you. It's got to be the best for everyone.
They are right. It's going to be about to restore trust. You have to restore relationships, honest, open relationships. I realize that our county commissioners meetings, they are held at a set time, 9 o'clock on Monday morning. There's a lot of people that can't make that. I don't know why it wouldn't be just as feasible for the commissioner of District 2 to quarterly go out and have a town hall in the different areas, say, Owas, Bluegaw, Claremore, so that they can get their questions answered. Yeah, we're going to have to, like I said before, you're going to have to tell the truth, do what's right to maintain the integrity. When you do that, you're going to take that into the office with you. And yeah, you're going to have open and clear lines of communication with your other departments. There's things that I think need to be changed, to bring the other department heads more into a part of the budget process. But like I say, the meetings, the open door policy, quick and courteous service of the people that work for the county, open and clear lines of communication.
I have one more question. I'll start with Mr. Ebel. And if anybody else has any questions, they can either ask them publicly or fill them out on the note cards I got back there in the back. So I'll start this one with Mr. Ebel. What will your first 3 decisions be on your first day of office?
That's hard to say. The first 3 decisions on the first day of office is probably going to be, what am I wearing today? But once into the office, whatever is the most pressing issue on hand is certainly going to take the upper interest and the most attention. So there's not a static answer to that unless you want to know what I'm wearing.
Beautiful.
If it can't be done before, there's 3 things that I think would have to be done. Number 1 is an audit. You need to know where you're starting from. The second is an inventory. You need to know what you're starting with. And the third, personnel review, so that you understand the abilities and the skills of the people around you.
Mr. Hendrix.
As he said, one of the first things I would do is inventory. You have to have a starting point when you take office. It needs to be in writing, it needs to be documented, it needs to be filed away, so that you know what you're responsible for going forward. The next thing you do as a manager is you meet with your people, and you talk to them, and you start developing a relationship with them. You tell them what's going to be expected. You let them know that they're going to be held accountable. You let them know that what you're all about, and you're going to learn their strengths and weaknesses. You're going to meet with the leaders, those people. But as you develop that trust, it's a two-way street. They've got to be able to trust you, and you've got to be able to trust them. And you let them each know that they've all got an equal opportunity to prove to you as a new manager that they deserve to be there. And they will all have that same opportunity.
Okay. So does any of the audience have any questions?
I've got a question. So what is your opinion about the relationship of the county joining in some type of both physical and financial relationship with CETA and the long-term goal of more rooftops in the county, more businesses, both industrial and any other type of business, and recreational, such as business and things like that?
I believe that any time that you can have a cooperative effort, and it doesn't just have to be with CETA, okay, with the county, with the city, with INCOG, with ODOT, any time that you can have a cooperative relationship that is reasonable and feasible, that increases the quality of life for the citizens, deserves to be looked into.
Our relationship with CETA is going to become more apparent down the road than it is right now. The economic development opportunities that are going to be presented to Claremore are going to be many, and they're going to be varied. The return on our investment dollar that we're going to be funding for CETA is going to be substantial. We're going to get a good return on our investment. CETA is staffed with highly qualified individuals right now, with Phil Alberts, Jerry. They're all doing a wonderful job. They're going to bring and recruit those industries into Claremore, and we're going to make it attractive for them to do so. Once they come to Claremore, then the economic development and the tax dollars we receive from those are going to allow us to improve our quality of life and do a lot more things than we were before. So I'm all about funding them. I think they're a great organization, and I think that we're going to benefit tremendously from their effort.
Mr. Ebel?
I certainly agree with a lot of that. We have to have relationships with organizations like CETA in order to bring more businesses and opportunities into our county. Anytime we have any type of interlocal agreement, I feel like we can't limit ourselves to what we're going to do there. We have to just make sure that it's beneficial for both parties. It's going to have to be a give and take. It's not going to be a freebie for one and coming out of one person's pocket just for the sake of it. I just think that everything has to be beneficial for both parties, and in any type of interlocal agreements, I don't believe any of them should end up as a for-profit type of agreement, because I don't think government should profit from the people that they're representing.
I have a question. I have a statement, then I'm going to turn it into a question. One of the things, regardless of who gets elected, one of the things you guys are going to run into, this is going to be a rude awakening, or you may already know it, whichever the case may be, but Rogers County is a fast-growing county. That more and more people are just pouring in every day. You know, like we have houses that used to be cow pasture. When I first moved in my area, there's only 2 houses in the neighborhood. There's like 10 now. But as the area grows, the county is kind of low on resources. Like, you know, our jail, our county's growing so fast, our jail is not really adequate. Our sheriff's department really doesn't have enough people because of all the people. And even you, when you become county commissioner, you have resources, you're going to try to help the whole county, but you're going to be stretched to the limit. how best are you going to use those resources in a growing county when you're stretched to the limit? Because that's a fact, gentlemen. It's just the way it is.
Thank you, Hendrix.
Well, everything you said is true. We are growing, and that growing is not going to stop. And we have to put into place forward and progressive thinking individuals so that when we address a problem, we're not only thinking about what does it take to solve this problem today, but where are we going to be 5 and 10 years down the road? And think of it in terms of that one so that you're not always coming around in a circle and chasing your tail. That saves a lot of money. You're not having to readdress the same problem. You have to find ways to be efficient, and sometimes that involves thinking outside the box. That involves how can we streamline what we're already doing? How can we work with other entities? Where for the very first time, the county and the city are working together out here on a county project where the city's got some skin in the game and so does the county. Those types of things are going to make our tax dollars go farther.
Mr. Ebel?
I think that's the key to it, is just prudent fiscal responsibility. We're going to have to make sure that the money we spend is spent wisely. Certainly with more people moving in, we are going to increase our tax base. That's going to help a little bit. That's probably not going to cover it all. So we've just got to make sure we spend money wisely. We need to enter into agreements that benefit everybody. And we're going to have to take a closer look at problem areas. We need to study needs versus wants.
You're right, Rogers County is the 5th fastest growing county in Oklahoma. And it is, there's going to be budgetary issues. If you look at the shortfall in revenue across the state, it's creating budgetary issues. It's coming down through the county. So you're going to have to look at you're going to have to prioritize. You know, you're going to have to look at your issues, and it's going to have to match your money. You know, you're going to have to prioritize. You're going to have to look out in the future and see, well, if we've got this, but we're expecting this, okay, but what if it doesn't happen? So you're going to have to look at, you know, your priorities on where that money's going to go.
Well, besides money, I was just thinking of just other things in general. I mean, as I already stated, like, you know, our sheriff's department is very small. Whether we like it or not, we're going to have a bigger sheriff's department. Whether our jail, I'm talking about just the county in general, but, you know, not only representing our District 2, but you're also going to have to be helping the whole county in general. Our jail is too small. When they first built that in 2000, it was beyond big enough for our needs. Well, it's not big enough for our, I mean, as the county grows, a lot of things that used to be good enough for our needs, whether it be fire department, I can just go on all these different issues, they were adequate. Now nothing in an entire county to me seems to be adequate, and that may cost people their lives. You know, always put human lives. I mean, it just concerns me. I mean, I'm trying to ask a question. I don't even know how I'm trying to ask here. I'm just going to drop it, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, and I will tell you one place that this should have started back in 2012, when we're spending $750,000 on drilling, rig, and dump trucks. You know, that could have, you know, it's not going to solve your problem, but and it may not be a lot of people, a lot of money across a county, but it can go a long ways in areas. You're going to have to come back to that fiscal responsibility and stop that.
Mr. Hendrix? Mr. Hendrix,
I think I made my point, so I'll let other people talk.
You have a comment to that end? You too. Either one of you.
No, but there are other issues involved. One of the things that we can do, and I'm not picking on anybody, but the budget shortfalls across the state. One of the things that we can do to address safety concerns, we have to make sure, first and foremost, we have a safe community. And at the state level, at this present time, we're taking money from the transportation fund to help balance our state budget. They've got to find that money somewhere to balance the budget. That money they're taking, which is millions of dollars, could be used here in Rogers County to repair bridges that are in critical need. So it's a big picture. The piece of the pie is being divvied up in many different ways, but we just got to fight to get our share.
Here again, it basically boils down to a money issue. We can't fix these issues without having the money to pay for them. And the money is in short supply. We're going to have to find better ways to do it, and we're going to have to do it a little cheaper.
So does anybody else have any questions? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and let the candidates give their closing statement. Give them 2 minutes for that. We'll start in reverse when we get the opening. We'll start with Steve and go backwards with Mr. Ebel.
Once again, I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight. I want to serve District 2 as the next commissioner. This job isn't just about roads, bridges, and ditches. It's about balancing the county budget, day-to-day operations of the county, being open and above board, and working with all the other entities in the county in order to better Rogers County and District 2. I offer you a voice that echoes your concerns, a voice that matters, a voice that cares. Once again, I'd be honored to have your vote on Tuesday. Thank you very much.
I'm going to close by restating the qualifications I have that I believe make me the best candidate for your commission. I'm a graduate of Oklahoma State University with a business degree in finance, so I have a finance background. We started our own excavation company, a family-run business, where I was an owner-operator for over 10 years. I've driven dump trucks, loaders, and dozers, and tractors, and backhoes. I've done that kind of work. We built roads and driveways, did house pads and site preparation. I'm very familiar with owning and maintaining equipment and what it takes, buying and selling, submitting bids and quotes. I've also worked for over 10 years in the insurance and securities businesses. I was insurance licensed with Prudential and securities licensed with Prudential Securities. Securities business is one of the most highly regulated industries in the world as far as documentation. In the last 13 years, almost 13 years, I've been in a management capacity for Lowe's Home Improvement Stores, a Fortune 50 company. I was very fortunate to go work for Lowe's because it taught me many things about being a manager. As a manager for Lowe's, your training is extensive. You receive training on diversity, on sexual harassment, what it takes to identify workplace violence, safety. Safety is a paramount issue. I'm one of the only 2 people in our organization that can train and certify people to operate power equipment. I'm the only person that can train and certify drivers. We take safety very seriously. That's important. Last week we had a class on what to do in case of an active shooter in a workplace. Unfortunately, that's part of the world we live in. So right now, I manage people, and those are the skill sets it's going to take to be a leader in this community and to manage people. And that's what I'm doing right now. Thank you.
I was raised fourth of 11 kids on Peterbilt Road. We were taught personal fiscal responsibility at an early age. Your personal responsibility didn't necessitate you. It included your family. It included your community. You were responsible for everyone. Okay? I think over the past 5 years, with my involvement in the community, as far as, like I say, opposing the waste, initiating the petition that almost 8,000 people got behind and went to the Attorney General to bring about the change in the Rogers County government. It wasn't about just any one person. It wasn't about 2 persons. We wanted it for the county because people were upset. They were confused. We said, come in, take a look at us, tell us what's wrong, if anything. If nothing's wrong, we'll sit down and shut up. We haven't had to sit down and shut up. Again, I think the things that you're going to have to bring to this office, you're going to have to bring transparency. You're going to have to bring fiscal responsibility. You're going to have to bring in trust. And again, I'm gonna plagiarize a guy in Oklahoma City. If we come in here and we tell the truth, we do what is right, and we maintain our integrity and avoid any cronyism or anything that looks like an appearance of conflict of interest. I worked in that industry for 14 years. It can get away from you in a hurry. I'd appreciate your votes on Tuesday or between now and then. I can look out here and see the shirts and tell everybody's already made up their mind.
I want to thank these gentlemen for coming out tonight and doing this, and I appreciate their willingness to run and to serve. And